I'm Tayshia. Nice to meet you.
We're working on some audio issues. We've got a lot of complaints about our audio. Before we get into anything, there's something we need to talk about. Tonight, we're setting up for the show. We say, let's go grab something to eat, right? We go to, obviously...
Buca di Beppo.
Obviously, we go to Buca di Beppo.
Obviously, two people need to go to a family-style restaurant.
I haven't been there in 15 years, but I was like, I think it was good last time I went. First of all, we walked in. Granted, it was 4 p.m. for dinner. The first 3 people that encountered us were surprised to see us. They went, whoa, someone talked to you? And then the guy came around the corner. Talking to someone. He's like, hey, Rachel, if you said, oh, hi, guys, excuse me. And he walked out like...
Very surprised.
Point is, they were not expecting company. They took us to the very back room. We thought, this is nice. This is like where the Dawn sits, like in a corner. It's very quiet. If you've ever been there, it's low ceilings. It's Italian for Joe's terrible. Basement, so it's supposed to feel like a basement. There we are enjoying our peaceful meal. We said to ourselves, look, the food tastes like shit. The place is too cold and it stinks, but at least it's quiet. And then our waiter comes past us and he goes, all right, set up the chairs for 30 people. Not just 30 people, which I can deal with.
30 hockey players.
It's 30 hockey players from out of town.
They're talking about Texas girls the whole time.
Yeah. You see that girl in the leather shorts? They had just come from Wild Pitch.
No. They had just come from Topgolf, but they were all freaking out because they saw Wild Pitch on their drive-in. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. They're like, did y'all see that sports bar?
Yeah, I heard the girls there wear shorts. They must be from up north. There's a lot of those here, folks. And they talked about Texas girls a lot. Did you see this one? Did you see that one? And they ruined...
sat there pregnant eating Alfredo pasta.
Yeah, I was like, did you see this one?
Yeah.
Anyways, they ruined my dinner, which was very gross. It was called fettuccine Alfredo, but it was more akin to fettuccine soup. If there was a website we could go type all this out on, we would, but there's not, so we just have to tell you guys. So anyway, it's a great place for families if you're not there for the food or atmosphere. All right, well, anyway, let's get to the show.
Buca di Beppo sucks.
We should broadcast from Buca next week. All right. Let's get into it.
Welcome to episode 5 of The Bachelorette, but it is episode 1 for Tayshia.
We're not going to spend any time on Claire tonight, even though they chose to.
Yeah.
We're going to leave her out of it. I keep my notes digital.
I don't.
Where did we leave off last week?
Tayshia arrives.
There you go.
Thanks so much. Tayshia arrives, and instead of the men going up to her one by one, she enters a room full of the men.
A couple of them pull her aside and have conversations, and just as they're getting their flow going, another limo arrives with more guys. 4
more guys are introduced. We have Spencer, who I think is very handsome, and Tayshia said that he is hot.
Ooh.
Yeah. We also have Montel, Peter, and Noah. When Noah shows up, someone inside said, I'm not worried about him. And Tayshia said, he's going to be trouble. And I do think he's going to be our next villain. I know this episode kind of made it seem like Spencer's the villain because she's really into Spencer right now, but I don't think Spencer's going to be the villain long term.
Yeah, I think Spencer's got the front runner target on his back, whereas Noah jokes around too much and he rubs all the guys the wrong way.
She comes back inside and everyone comes up to Tayshia, which they never did for Claire. So can you imagine how Claire is
watching
feeling?
That, I did like that they had like a 4 weeks of practice, and then the real Bachelorette shows up and they all knew how to handle it.
Yeah.
Because all the conversations flowed. There was really no awkward, like cringy moments.
Well, and Tayshia's just such a good hostess too. She does such a great job of even just toasts and cheersing everybody. She does great. A ton of guys, like I said, come up to Tayshia, and Spencer takes her. But the Bachelorettes always love it. They always love that guy that does that.
Yeah.
I do too.
I've never really had to compete for you. If I did,
you wouldn't.
If we were in a room with, bear with me guys, if we were in a room with 30 people that liked you.
It's not like inconceivable.
No, it's very conceivable. And if that were happening, I would steal you away.
Trust me, I'm sure that someone...
Like when we were getting our oil change at Jiffy Lube. That's like a room full of guys who like you.
Some other things that stood out to me. Zach C and the wishing well, because she liked that. They, threw coins in and made a wish. And they were like, we can't say anything unless we make it to the end of this together, da-da-da. And she was like, oh, wait, I liked that. Ben, who did not light up at all for Claire, meets Tayshia and is like the happiest I've ever seen. And they had a nice little moment where they danced together. She said, wait again. Just keep watching for the waits. That'd be a good drinking game for anyone who can drink.
Not me.
Not me.
I've sworn it off.
I'll eat
solidarity.
You haven't. You're drinking right
That's
now.
That's apple juice.
I'll have a cookie every time she says wait.
Maybe not.
Maybe so. Cookies make me happy.
So who gets the rose on night one? Well, back up.
To what?
Let's talk about the rose ceremony.
Don't grab my finger.
Let's talk about the rose ceremony. There wasn't one.
That's after. The first impression rose always comes after. No, the first impression rose is in the middle of. Do you know how this works? This is honestly embarrassing.
No, what do you mean? How what?
The first impression rose happens mid-party.
So the first impression rose goes to
Spencer.
Ordinarily, they would transition at some point shortly thereafter into the rose ceremony.
Hold on. When Spencer receives the first impression rose, he comes back to the guys, and Bennett says, "Congratulations, Spencer."
And we love Bennett. As I was perusing Bachelor Data's posts, he or she posted every week their Instagram follower growth, and I noticed that Bennett consistently has the highest growth numbers, but some of the lowest screen time and lowest interaction time with the Bachelorette.
I adore Bennett. I think he's so funny. I don't want him to be with Tayshia because I don't want him to leave the TV. I want him to be the next Bachelor after Mike or whatever his name is.
I think they're still doing Mike.
I want him to be on Paradise. I want him to be the next Bachelor. I want everything for him.
We want him
big.
to move in
I
with
want him
us.
to be big.
Okay, and then the rose ceremony.
She canceled the rose ceremony because she wants to get to know the guys.
Finally, a
She's
cancellation
perfect.
for good reason.
I know.
She says, there's no point. I just got here. Let's talk more. And they were super happy with that.
The group date is with Blake, Riley, Zach, Jordan, Noah, Peter, Kenny, Jay, Easy, Spencer. The date card says, "Here's to a second shot at love."
And so the game's mostly uneventful. They get very aggressive, specifically towards Spencer, who we said has a target on his back.
Well, Spencer was getting aggressive too.
Yeah, Spencer was playing rough.
It was like Spencer versus Riley.
Yes, Riley, the anger problem guy, with Spencer, the new front runner.
And we do notice that Riley has an anger problem. I know no one's really addressing it, but I see something in him that is dark.
We're going to finally be the first show to address Riley's anger.
Yeah.
Nobody else will talk about it.
No one's going to talk about it, but we will. And we just did. And we're going to keep doing it.
Every season, somebody bleeds and they get special attention. So it always works out in the victim's favor.
The blue team won. Spencer's on the blue team. Blake was on the green team. He lost again. Riley, also need to know this, Riley lost. Both teams come back for the evening. They gave the winning team some time to barbecue with Tayshia. And as soon as they come back, Riley makes some dumb, mean comment about no one serving her at the barbecue.
Weren't the burgers great earlier? The hot dogs?
Did they serve you? Double? Were they gentlemen to serve you? They didn't, did they? See? Flip it up. Come on.
Negativity doesn't win over women.
No, I'm not interested in you, Riley.
Doesn't win my wife over.
I'm not going to date you. Kenny told Spencer that he comes across as a dick.
To try to put it in layman's terms, and don't take this the wrong way.
Okay.
You kind of come off like a
The group rose date ends up going too easy. Back at home, Jason said that he fell in love with Claire, so it's time for him to go. And he's talking to the guys about this. And the guys are so sweet. They're like rubbing his back and supporting him. Zach C was next to him like, man, you're doing the right thing. You're so strong for realizing this. It was very sweet.
It was fake sweet, but it was sweet.
They were
Anytime
very sweet.
anyone's like, I'm thinking about going home, everyone's like, hey, you have to do what's right for you.
Not like this. Guys don't do that to each other.
Oh, you know a lot about guys, huh? Let me tell you, I know everything about guys.
Jason goes to have a chat with Tayshia, and he says he's happy that she's here, but he let his walls down with Claire and he fell for her, and so he needs to go. And Tayshia tells him that she gets it and she was worried that this would happen, and he was so sweet. He reassured her that nobody else in the house feel this the way that he does and that they are totally here for her. What a great guy. We're going to see Jason again. Don't you think?
Unfortunately, yeah.
No, like in Paradise or somewhere. He's got to come back.
No,
He's
I
a
just
great
can't stand
guy.
him.
Why? Why can you not stand him?
He's just a mopey idiot.
Because
Just
he
go
fell in love
away.
with Claire. You'd be such...
You can't fall in love with Claire. That's not real. All right, then we come to a one-on-one date. It is with... Can I talk about it yet?
It's amazing.
Can I talk about the date yet?
Yeah, but I'm excited.
It's with Brendan.
This date was perfect. Like, Brendan is he's my front runner.
That looked like a normal date you would see two people on.
Well, aside from just like being on horses and going
Right,
around.
aside from all the stuff they did and
Yeah.
Chris Harrison jumping out and interrupting. I did see something funny that the Harrison jumping out was to slow down the love story because he couldn't afford to have another bachelor fall in love on the first date.
I was thinking that Tayshia probably really liked Brendan initially because he's so small-ish, you know, and he wears turtlenecks. So since she's a blogger and an influencer, she can probably dress him up however she wants.
Now I'm going to get really intimate with my vocals here.
Okay.
Brendan reveals to Tayshia that in his early 20s, he actually was married.
And guess what? Tayshia was also previously married.
That was a beautiful conversation. He said that his first wife didn't want kids, and that was a deal breaker for him. Same.
To get real serious with my viewers here, for the last 6 years, I have been so terrified that you were going to divorce me because I didn't want kids.
Let's get real. We almost didn't make it, right?
That's not true, you guys. That's too far. People are going to think that you're being serious.
When we got engaged and eventually married, we'd never talked about whether or not either of us wanted kids. I've always wanted 10 kids, like minimum. I've always wanted a ton of kids, and I never told her that. It turns out she didn't want any kids, which was just such a funny thing to find out.
I have never wanted kids.
And I didn't know that because I didn't ask.
You did know. I told you. I said, be prepared that I might not want to have kids.
Yeah, be prepared, blah, blah. Whenever you said that, I'm like, of course, 19-year-olds don't want kids, whatever. I figured you'd actually did want kids and you were being funny. I thought you were making a funny joke.
Yeah,
I wrote it in my journal. Sarah told a very funny joke today.
I'm very happy that I'm pregnant right now.
Yeah.
Also.
And it's not an accident, baby. We talked about it and we were like, we want a baby girl. And then we made one. Like 30 minutes later. Like 45 minutes later.
Okay.
Back to the show. He talked about the kids thing. And she goes, well, do you want kids? He said, yes. And she said, I want like 5 kids.
They were so, and his face lit up.
Yeah, he got really excited about that. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? She gives him the rose and she says, but I have a surprise for you.
Fireworks.
Fireworks and kissing.
And the guys back home were like, they are sharing a moment right now.
Yeah, Chasen said that.
Yeah, as they were watching the fireworks from their room.
And you know what, guys? That was the episode. They didn't do the second group date or rose ceremony. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Follow me on Instagram.
Pin it. Registered at Amazon. Follow our Like to Know It. We'll give you the P.O. box here.
Bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.